Once upon a time in Amakoko, a land where the drums never ceased and the moonlight danced on the thatched roofs, there lived Princess Adoma, the jewel of the kingdom. Her laughter was like the morning birds, her beauty brighter than the rising sun. But one day, dark clouds covered her destiny. She fell ill, stricken by a strange sickness no healer could cure. Her skin grew pale, her strength faded, and her smile disappeared. The people wailed. The market women beat their chests. The drummers played dirges instead of festival songs, and the whole kingdom grew silent with sorrow. In his grief, King Kwaku Tutu summoned the council of elders to the palace courtyard. The elders gathered, wise men with grey beards, staff in hand, sitting in a circle upon the carved stools. The air was thick with fear and mourning. The king stood, his voice trembling. My only daughter, my heart, my heir, lies wasting away. I have offered goats, sheep, and cattle to the gods, but still she suffers. What shall become of Amakoko if she dies? The elders murmured. Some spoke of stronger herbs, others of calling distant healers. But at last, the oldest elder rose and said, let us call Nana Okomfo Kusi, the chief priest. The gods alone know the cure. And so the sacred drums were beaten, summoning the priest. Nana Okomfo Kusi, with cowries around his neck and white chalk upon his face, entered. He prayed, cast the kola nuts, and after 3 days of sacrifice and divination, he returned with the message. The gods are angry. The people of Amakoko have grown careless. They no longer bring sacrifices of yam, palm oil, and goats as our fathers did. Even worse, Princess Adoma unknowingly broke a sacred law. In the days of her monthly flow, she went to bathe in the village river, a place forbidden to women at such times. The river spirit rose in fury, and the gods placed the curse upon her. The courtyard fell silent. Women covered their mouths, and the elders shook their heads in sorrow. The priest continued, you only water from the evil forest of Abunsam can heal her. But the forest is not kind. Only the brave may return. Send 10 young men, and whoever brings the water in a calabash shall heal her. He will marry her, and when the time comes, he shall also be king. The king agreed. The drums were beaten once more, and the whole village was told. Among the 10 chosen was Kwabena Anane, the son of a poor farmer. His father had died early, leaving him to care for his mother and their little farm on the edge of Amakoko. He was known for working hard in the fields from dawn till dusk, planting yam and maize. Though he owned no cattle or wealth, the other young men often mocked him. Kwabena, what can a man with no riches, no fine clothes, and no warrior's fame do? Stay with your hoe and cutlass. The evil forest is for men, not boys who dig dirt. But though poor, Kwabena was handsome, tall, and strong, with arms hardened from farming. He was kind, sharing what little food he had with hungry children, and polite, always greeting elders with respect. The elders often said quietly, this boy may be poor, but his heart is richer than gold. Still, no one thought he had any chance of success. At dawn, the 10 young men set out, each with a calabash strapped to his back. The whole kingdom gathered to see them off. Mothers wept, fathers prayed, maidens sang farewell songs. The drums of Amakoko beat like thunder as they vanished into the thick forest. As they walked, the forest grew darker, and the strange sounds filled the air, whispers, cries, and laughter. The ground was soft with red earth, and the trees bent in unnatural shapes. Soon they came upon a clearing where a great feast was laid: roasted meat, sweet palm wine, golden fruits. Their hunger gnawed at them. Kojo Mensa, greedy and proud, rushed forward. "The gods provide for me," he cried, grabbing the meat. The moment he swallowed, his body turned to stone, standing forever in the forest as a warning. Later, the men heard voices calling their names: mothers, fathers, lovers. Ebotawea, cunning but easily deceived, heard his late father's voice: "Son, come to me." He followed, only to vanish into the trees, never seen again. Yaboteng, selfish, also turned his ear to the voices, hoping to find treasure. The spirits dragged him away onto the shadows. As they crossed a long, winding path, a strange bird cried, "Do not look back. Do not look back." Afri Owusu, impatient, laughed. "What foolishness!" He turned his head. Instantly, he was swallowed by the earth. Kweku Badu, the wrestler, also looked back in arrogance. A great tree fell upon him, crushing him flat. At a black pool, their reflection spoke to them. Kwezi Manu, the cruel warrior, saw his reflection say, "You are king already. Why fetch water?" He bent down to drink, but the pool swallowed him whole. At the final river, the giant python lay coiled. Kwame Gyasi, the boastful rich man, charged with his machete, but the serpent swallowed him whole. Yapoku, the hunter, wounded the serpent with his spear, but its venom blinded him. He wandered in circles until his voice faded. Through it all, Kwabena Anane, the poor farmer's son, remembered the words of his mother. The forest respects humility. Do not eat what you did not plant. Do not follow strange voices. Do not look back. Keep your eyes on your journey. He refused the feast. He closed his ears to the voices. He kept his eyes forward. At the pool, he prayed instead of drinking. At the serpent, he bowed and offered respect. And so the forest let him pass. At the shining spring, he filled his calabash carefully and journeyed home to heal Princess Adoma. When he stepped out of the evil forest, weary but unbroken, the villagers who had been waiting at the edge of the path for the past 7 days gasped and shouted with joy, "He has returned! Kwabena Anane lives!" Drummers beat their talking drums. Women ululated until the hills echoed. Children danced around him, and the young men lifted him high upon their shoulders. The crowd swelled as he walked through the marketplace, carrying the sacred calabash. "Make way for the savior of Amakoko," the elders cried. "Let him pass, for he carries the life of the princess." The procession grew larger and larger until it seemed the whole kingdom followed him. The air rang with songs of praise. "O Kwabena, poor in riches but rich in heart, the gods have chosen you." The healing of Princess Adoma. At last, Kwabena entered the palace courtyard. The king, the elders, and the chief priest awaited him with anxious faces. Gently, he knelt before Princess Adoma, who still lay pale and weak upon her mat. Carefully, he lifted the calabash and poured the shining water upon her lips. At once, Her color returned. Her body trembled with new strength, and her eyes fluttered open like flowers at sunrise. She sat up, radiant and whole, her beauty brighter than ever. When her gaze fell on Kwabena, she felt her heart leap. The poor farmer's son, tall and strong, kneeling humbly before her, seemed more glorious than any prince. She smiled, her eyes shining with love. In that very moment, she knew her heart belonged to him. The kingdom erupted with joy. The king rose to his feet, tears in his eyes, and declared before all, "The gods have spoken. Kwabena Anane, son of the soil, you have saved my daughter and my kingdom. You shall marry her, and when my time is done, you shall sit upon this stool as king of Amakoko." The drums thundered, their horns blew, and the people clapped until their palms stung. A great wedding was held that very moon. Cattle were slaughtered, palm wine flowed, and dancers spun until dawn. The elders blessed the union. The chief priest poured libation, and the king himself placed Princess Adoma's hand into Kwabena's. The princess and Kwabena looked into each other's eyes, and their joy shone brighter than the evening stars. Thus, the poor farmer's son became prince, and in time, king. Together with Princess Adoma, he ruled with kindness, humility, and strength. And the people of Amakoko told the tale to remind generations that true greatness is not measured in riches, but in the purity of the heart.